Alright, so when I last left you, we tackled the menu, a very basic menu, and an item tracker to make sure that when you get an item, it no longer appears back on the map after you enter or exit. So today, what I'm going to show you how to do is, for one, I'm going to have us add a camera to the character so that it'll follow us no matter where we go. I'm also going to show you guys how to do doors, so you can go in and out of different areas. And finally, I'm going to show you how to save the game. So once we enter the save state here, as you can see here, we have 10 missiles and 10 max. If I hit the save button and then I leave over here, even if I go to another map, if I hit the load button, I enter right back here with all my items that I had collected, and I'll show you right here that it still works. So I'm going to collect up that one here. You see that I have 15 now. I'm going to hit the save button and hit L, and you can see that all my items are saved, and none of the items that I've grabbed are respawning, or at least none of the upgrades that I'm grabbing are respawning. This is just a make sure I can have missiles or whatever. So that being said, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is the doors. Now I've readjusted our old map here, so I've added an area here so we can add our save station, and I've added another area here that's going to be for where our door goes. So we're going to open up a new scene. We are going to get another node, so we want an area 2D. This is going to be the door collider, if I'm not mistaken. Then we're going to add a sprite 2D. Then we're going to need a collision shape 2D. And all this is going to do, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be for opening up the menu. Not the menu, it's going to be for opening up the door. So this particular portion of the door is going to be checking for the bullets. So whenever bullets enter this particular collision shape, it's going to it's going to open up the door for us if the door is closed. If not, it's just going to pass through. So that's what this particular one is for. Alright, so I'm going to go back up to here. Then we're going to add another area 2D. And this one is going to be the portal. And all the portal is once the player's body enters this, we want it to teleport us to another map. So we need another collision shape for that. So that's what that's going to be for. Same thing, we're going to add another square shape, and then we're going to add one more shape. And this one is going to be a static body 2D. And what this is going to be the door, essentially door's block. So this is going to keep the player from being able to move past the door until it's disabled. And of course, it also needs a collision shape. So awesome. So we're just going to save this into our scenes folder, and we are going to call this doors, not to be confused with the band. Okay. So now that's done, let's get our door. So I have some brand new sprites in here, and the one that we're going to use is called door sprite frames, or excuse me, door frames. Derpity derp derp. And what I'm going to want to do is change this horizontal frame to 1. And all that says is these things are within 32 pixels by 64 pixels, if I remember correctly. So all I did was I doubled the width, so it's 64 by 64. All it's doing is cutting that in half, the horizontal frames. So that way we have two different images, and you'll see it's got frame 0 and then it's got a frame 1. Frame 0 is the door being closed, and frame 1 is the door being opened. So now that that's done, we are going to make sure that this here, going to move this. What we want for this thing to do essentially is check if any bullets are hitting the door. So we want this to be right about here. And I want this to actually be a little bit further back like this. Okay, and that's all that's gonna need. And then for the portal, I need it to be, I believe, at the back, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Finally, I forgot to add my collision shape for the box here, or the block to keep us from going. Okay. So that takes care of our collisions. Jesus Christ. Alright, so we're going to add this one, and I think I just called it doors as well. And in this particular script, we are actually going to need a signal. So we're actually going to exit out of that. And the signal that we need, if I'm not mistaken, is an area enter. Okay. So let's hit that area enter, and we have this. So what we want to do is have an if statement. So if area, meaning any area that collides with this particular area, is in group, and we're going to create this group here in just a second, and I'm going to name it P bullets, and all P bullets stands for is player bullets. And then all I want to do is get that animated sprite sheet. No, excuse me, it's just a regular sprite 2D, and then I want to set its frame to 1. And all that's saying is once a bullet hits this particular area, I want this sprite to change its frame from the current sprite that it is to frame 1. And as you can see here, the doors disappeared. I mean, you can always make these things look prettier later down the line, but this is just for, showing. And then the next thing I want it to do is I want to make sure that the player can pass through the door now. So we're going to grab this door block here, and we want to get the no, we just want the door block actually, and we're going to queue free. So all it's going to do is just going to delete the collision shape for that. Now we need to go into our bullets here, and then on the ready function, we are just going to add, do like that. So yeah, just add to group, P bullets, and now when we shoot the door, it should work. So I'm just going to add that door right now, open, and then we're going to move it to the spot that we want. Make sure the grid snapper is on, that way things line up nice and neat. And I'm probably going to move this, in fact I'm going to delete this one. There's no need for that one to be there. Or better yet, no. We'll move this right here. Yeah. Okay, and now when I test this out, when we shoot, it should, yeah, beautiful. As you can see here, I can go through. Now obviously, we're not going to teleport anywhere because we haven't programmed for that yet. But as you can see here, it does in fact work. So I really would like to add a camera to the player, but since we're working on the door, let's finish off the door before we go do other weird stuff. So now that that's done, we are going to add another script to the portal. So let's do that. And this one here, we'll just call it portal, is going to allow the player to teleport to any other scene. Only we need to check for bodies because the player is a body. So I'm going to click on portal again. We're going to look for body enter, connect. This time let's not be a dummy and enter. We want to check for the player. We want to check for the player's body. So what we're going to do here is, I need a couple of variables actually at the top. So let's get those done first. At export variable, and actually export file. I'm going to do so much damn editing, it's not even funny. And then I need a .tscn file. Make sure those are stringed. Just gonna highlight that. Show it stringed. And then we need a variable portal exit. Okay. So what this is going to do is it's going to look for a file that's a TSCN, and all the TSCNs are files that we've actually been using the whole time, and those are actually our scenes. So if you look at any of our scenes that we've done, they all have this TSCN file. So all this is going to do is look for a scene, and it's going to return it to us. So that's all it's going to do. The next thing we need is another export variable. And this is going to be portal spawn. And all this is going to do, and we need that to be a vector 2. So all this is telling, so what this is going to do here, what's this? Why are we having a problem here? Vector 2, oh, it doesn't need this. Okay, so all the portal spawn is going to be is where we're going to spawn on the map itself. So these are going to be our coordinates, and these little quotation marks is just telling Godot what variable it's supposed to be looking for. In this particular case, it's looking for a vector 2, but it could be anything. It could be an int, it could be a float, it could be a string, it could be your mother. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create an if statement or conditional down here, and we're going to say if portal exit, meaning if the portal exit has been activated, and body, meaning this is the player's body, is in group player. What we want it to do is we want it to get tree, and then we want it to change scene to file, and then it's going to ask us for what particular file we want to load in or change the scene to. In this particular case, because we have export variables for the portal exit, we can essentially, if you recall before, if we hit here the portal and we go to the inspector, we can actually choose where we want anytime we load in this element into any map that we want. So this gives us a lot of flexibility on where we can go. So what we want to do, instead of giving it one single string, we're going to give it the portal exit. So essentially, if at any particular time that the portal exit is called, so anytime we ask for a new file, and the body that enters this particular portal area, it's going to get the tree, which is the entire scene that we're currently in, and then it's going to change it to whatever file that we say. In this particular case, I'm just going to grab one of my scenes here, and let's do the missiles. And we don't care about the spawn point right now, because this is, we don't have the player loaded in this particular file. So if we go there, as you can see, once I enter the door, we change scenes to the missile scene. Now obviously we can't do anything else after this because we don't have a player in this particular scene. But now you can see our door now works. We can now change scenes. So now that that is done, I don't think I need to do anything else in here just yet. Okay. So now let me get a camera on the player here because it's driving me bonkers. Cameras are easy. All we're going to do is go on the player here, and we're going to click on a new child, and we're just going to add camera 2D. And that's pretty much it. Not even joking. We do want something in here though. I think it is drag. When we're playing a game and we're moving around, sometimes it's like super disorienting when the camera follows the player immediately. So we're gonna add a little drag to that. We're just going to use the default settings, if I remember correctly. Yeah. There we go, that's better. As you can see here, it takes just a second for the camera to move along with us. And all this is going to do is allow the player's eyes to adjust to the new movement. That way it's not so jumpy and jittery, because it can get disorienting for some people. So, alright, now that's done. Let's get ourselves a brand new map. So I'm just going to skip this next part because F you! No, I'm just kidding. It's just making a brand new tile map, honestly. So, okay, so now that we have a second world, what we're gonna do next is we are going to go to our doors for each of these, and we're going to go to here it is, edible children. And what this is going to allow us to do is go into that particular instance node's children, and we can fiddle around with its own values. So since we've done this, we can now click onto the portal here, and we can add where we're going to exit and where our for the love of God, where our position will be on that map. So let's change this. So if we're on this particular world, this is world 2, we are going to go to world 1. And if we're in world 1, I'm going to just get rid of this. And if we're in world 1, where's my door at? Here it is. Go to edible children. We want to go to world 2. Okay, now we're going to check and see if this works. I should just, like, land right in the top. There we go. Yeah, beautiful. And same thing goes for this one. Uh-oh. What was this for again? Okay. Okay. So we actually need that open. Variable opened equals false. And then here we need to put and open, yeah, and open is equal to true. And then if that is true, we're gonna have opened equals true. Okay, so that should keep it from crashing. But yeah, this needed that originally, so it wouldn't crash. So if I hit this thing, if I hit this door again now, it should keep me. Okay. This is equal to false. Sorry. Can't wait to edit this video. Alright, so now we can shoot this thing as many times as we like, and you can see it doesn't crash anymore. Okay. Yeah, that was my fault. Alright, as you can see here, there's a bit of a problem. I go in front of the door. So I'm gonna fix that right now. And the reason for that is the player is above the door. We need to fix that so it's that way instead. Because this thing goes by there's layers in here, so whatever's put in first goes behind what's put in next of it. Okay. What am I doing on time? I'm probably doing absolutely fucking terrible because reasons. I'm at 35 minutes. Of course I am. So now the next thing we want to do is set the player's position so that it's at the front of the door. And that is actually very simple because we are going to use a marker 2D to find out what those positions are. Because cheating is fun. Alright. So the first one we want to figure out is what position is this? Marker 2D. And that marker 2D should be here. Beautiful. Okay. I'm just going to put this right here for now. And then I'm going to go to World 2, and I'm going to add a marker 2D as well. Now, doors are a bit weird, or portals are a bit weird. You would think that this portal here, this portal spawn, would want the coordinates of the room we're currently in. That's not true. What we want to put in here is the coordinates of the next room that we're going to enter, where we want to be in that particular room. So in this case, these spawn positions need to be whatever this marker's position is. So in that particular case, it's going to be 232 by 144. So we're going to go here, and we're going to do 232 by 144. And then the opposite is true. We want negative 40 by 120 in this one. Negative 40 by 120. And now, if I did that correctly, I think I need to do one more thing, but I'm going to find out right now if I did that right. Yeah. Okay, I need to do one more thing. Currently, our position isn't being stored, or the player's position isn't being stored consistently. So what's happening is, like I was explaining before with the items, why we had a global variable for those, Samus is being deleted and then rebuilt each and every single scene. So she needs a way to keep track of her position at all times. So before I added another global variable, but I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to do is go into her player inventory, and we're just going to give her a brand new position in here. So we're going to do variable. Let me see what I wrote in this global variable. It wasn't much. Yeah, variable player, or yeah, players. Snake case, please. Players current position, and that's going to be equal to a vector 2. And it doesn't matter what you put in here. I probably could just do this, honestly. But I'm just gonna leave it as I had it, just to avoid any future headaches, just in case that doesn't work out. Okay, so all this is gonna do is just keep track of the player's position at all times, whenever she's loaded in. Excuse me. So now that we have that, we're gonna go to the player, and we need to make sure that the player's position is always set to her current position. So whenever she's loaded in, it's going to look for, not gravity, why am I in gravity? It's going to look for what her current position is, and whatever that position is where it's going to throw her. So now that we have that, we're going to have to go back to our doors, right? Not our doors, we got to go back to our portals, excuse me. And we're going to have to set her positions when she exits and enters these things. Okay, so once she's down here, we got to go to global. Look, okay, damn it. Not global. Player inventory, player's current position is equal to portal spawn. Yeah, I don't think I needed this for anything. That's alright, I'll just edit it out. So if I did this correctly, oh wait, what's this? Oh shit, let's not do that. Alright, so we obviously see a bit of an issue here, and that is when she first starts off in the original world. So we're gonna give her, let's see here, I want to start right here. 144, 136, sorry, heard. 144, 136. I said 136. Alright, and this is just to make sure that there we go. Beautiful. And now she should land right where she needs to at all times. Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now obviously we can add a transition to make things look a little smoother, but it's not necessary right now. This is just to show a proof of concept. Alright, so we got a camera, we got portals, awesome, and we also have it so that it stores, as you can see here, her data. And if we enter this room now, you can see, ruh-roh, that did not work as it's supposed to. I have to make sure that those items do not spawn back up. Oh, I see why I didn't do that. I'm an idiot. I commented that out because I'm a moron. Okay, it should work now. Yeah, there you go. You can see now it took out the missile, and I can no longer obtain it again. And I can get this one too. And if I come back to this room, that item too is missing. So it's working. It is working. All right, beautiful. All right, now let's get the save function here. This one is going to be can't even speak. This one is going to be super duper easy. And by super duper easy, I mean you will kill yourself. So we actually want to add the save function to the player. And I'm just going to add it all the way to the bottom. Now before I go any further, I'm going to say this outright. I did not come up with this method at all. I found a video from a channel called GameEndeavors that I used to watch when I was first learning how to do Godot. Now, his method is the one I'm going to use, but he used the method that he used was for Godot 3.2, so it's a bit outdated. A lot of the things that he wrote in there don't work because the names have been changed, but I was able to use that tutorial to essentially make a brand new saving system for Godot 4. Which leads me to my advice to anybody that is struggling to code. Just because a video is old and the information in there may be outdated does not mean that that video or that information has no value. You can still learn something from people that have made videos in the past. Just because they're old and outdated doesn't mean that they're worthless. It doesn't mean that the people that made those videos, that their time was wasted. You should definitely check out old videos and see if the thing that they're teaching will solve your problems that you're currently facing. Just a little bit of advice, and you can do that in even real life. Just because somebody said advice from 50 years ago doesn't mean it may not be applicable today. All right. With that being said, let's steal the shit out of his code. So let's go to our player script here, and we're gonna have a save function. I know it might seem a bit weird to have the save function with the player, but we want to make sure that the player has access to the save function at all times, but they can only access it when we say they can. So we're going to say game save. I will, by the way, have his channel linked at the bottom of this video, so you should definitely give him a subscription. He hasn't uploaded in a while, but yeah, there's plenty of videos that you can probably gain some knowledge from. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm getting off track here. We need to create a dictionary of data that we want to save. And inside this dictionary of data, we're going to give it a bunch of keys, and those keys are going to do certain things for us. So in this particular one here, I want to do file name, and I want that to get the parent, And then I want it to get, I think, the scene. Hold on. This thing is not big enough. Let me open this up so I can see everything. Yeah. So this one here needs to be get scene. I can't remember how to spell this shit. Look, I'm not gonna waste my time trying to spell this. Okay. Get scene file path. Okay. What is this error? Local variable, yeah, because I haven't used it yet. Then after that, we want to create another one, and this is going to be parent. And then this one here is going to equal get parent, and then we want path. No, excuse me, get path. Don't worry, I'm going to explain why I have all these variables here. Now we want to store our position underscore x, and that's going to be the player's position. So we're going to self.position .x. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm splitting this up, it's because the save function, I don't think it can save vectors. I could be wrong on that. You can test this out if you want. What the fuck am I writing here? You can test that out if you like. I don't think it does work though, but that's okay. If it does, it doesn't matter. We have what we need here. So next, we need to get our max missiles, our current ammo, and our current ammo pickup. So all I'm gonna do is just cheat here. I'm just gonna I probably should have done that from the very beginning. Now obviously this is wrong because I have it written as something else. This is from the player inventory, so we're going to player inventory dot items tracker and then missiles pickup. So all this is doing is it's getting a file name, and this file name is going to be the actual save file. The parent to get path is going to find exactly where we're currently being saved at. Then this here is going to get our positions, and then this is just custom data. So I want it to save our maximum missiles, I want it to save our current ammo, and then I want it to save any items that we've collected. In this particular case, our upgrades. And you can keep going on. You can freaking add whatever you want. You want to add a jar of pickles to this crap, you can. And that's going to be, I don't know, she has 12. She has 12 jars of pickles. So, so if there's anything you need to add to this save data, you can. With that being said, let's continue and stop screwing off with our little merry way. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is create a variable called get file, and then we're going to equal file access, and then we want to open, and then we want to do save path, which I don't have at the moment. I have to create that. And then at that we want to do file access, and then this one here we want to do write. So let me get my save path here. I don't remember where I had the save path. I think I had it all at the tippity top, but I could be wrong. No, I'm not. Okay. So I'm gonna go all the way to the tippy top again. Yep. Okay, and here's what I need to do. Boom. So I create a variable called save path. I'm currently running on Linux, but this should work on Windows also. If it doesn't work on Windows, there is a link to the documentation. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think you change this to something like a string with like user, like something like this, I think, or maybe it's something like this, user, and then you put in your files or whatever. I think it's something like that, but this should work anyway. So what I'm telling this to do is get my OS, which is Linux, or I should say, I'm asking it to get a method within the function OS. I want to get environment, and I want to get my home. So what it's doing is getting my home directory right here. And then what I want to do is I want to go to Documents. I want to go to a file called Testing Saves. So right here, Documents, Testing Saves. And then after that, I want you to save. Let me go up here. I want you to create a file called Save My Game. So I already have a file like that, so I'm just gonna call the Save Me Daddy. And I don't know about that. All right, let's keep this professional. Save me data. I'm a pirate. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna, when we hit the save function, or when we create a save here, we're going to create a new batch of data here. So this one here is Save My Game, but this one will create a file called Save Me Data. So now that that's done, let's go all the way back down to the very bottom to our current little function here. So once this game save is called, it's going to create that file for us. And now let's go all the way back down to continue our merry way to finish this. So the next thing I need to do is I want to use that get file. So let's do get file dot store, and I want to store a variable, and that variable needs to be all this data that we just told it to that we just created. So let's go data. So now that that's done, when we call this, it's going to take all this data, it's going to open it, and it's going to write the file if we don't have it, and then it's going to save it. Now when it does this, whenever you open a file, it doesn't close by itself, so we need to close that. That way we can make sure that there's no vulnerabilities. Whoops. Get file dot close. Because leaving this open could leave us susceptible to people screwing with our data and doing things that we don't want it doing. Okay, so now that we have the save function finished, let's do the load function. Load game. I don't know why I did that. And now what I want to do is practically the same thing I just did with the other one, but instead of writing the data, I want to read it. And then after that, I need to create a condition. If file access dot file exist. So all this is saying is if the file actually exists, and the file that it's looking for is going to be save data. Whoops, what the hell happened here? Save data. What is the save data? Where did I get this save data? Oh, excuse me, it's not save data, it's save path. Excuse me. Excuse it. So if the file exists, the save path, then what I want it to do is I want it to open up that file and read it to me. And then after it's done reading it to me, I want to create a brand new variable. So I'm going to make a copy of this, that way it doesn't ruin the old data that I have. Get load. Oh, I see. My mistake. Let's fix that. Get load. We have a new variable. Okay, so all this is doing is we're creating a new variable, and that variable is just going to be looking for our save path that we created. It's going to access the file, and we just want to read it. And all this is saying is if that file exists, I want you to take that file, I want you to open it up, read it, store it inside this variable called player data. So that's what it's doing. Get load, get all that information, and then I want you to get the tree, and I want you to change the scene to whatever that file says. In this case, we said file name, and that file name is going to be whatever whatever scene we currently are in when we saved, or whatever scene we were in when we currently saved. So now that that's done, we need to add a save point. And I don't know why I didn't add it to the World 2 or to World 1, because that would have been perfect. So let me do that right now. Okay. So all I did very quickly was I just created an empty area. I made a script for whenever the player's body enters it, and obviously it says if body is in group player. I want to do a couple of things. So I want to do body.canSave, and then body modulate. All this is going to do is change the color. So if you remember in the beginning, she kind of darkened when she was in the saving pod, and then I have it down here when she exits, it just resets all that stuff. So I need to create another variable all the way up here, and that's going to be variable canSave equals false, meaning she won't be able to save until we tell her to. And then after that, we just need to save. So I'm going to make a new function here. I'm going to make it right here. And all I'm going to do... Whoops, what the fuck? Okay. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this function here. Control C. And I'm going to copy it to right here. I think this would be a good spot for it. Okay. So I need to get myself a... Okay. Now we need to make sure that this thing is called call save function. Okay. So as you can see here in the call function, or the call save function, it says if input whatever, if the action's pressed just one time, and the boolean canSave is true, I can access my game save. If it's not equal to true, meaning I'm not in the save station, and I press the load button, then I can load the game. And then I just put it in the physics process. That way it checks it every single frame. And if I am not mistaken, oh no, duh. Okay. So I forgot to do one little tiny thing, and that is I never added it to here. So let's do that. I want this to be a little longer, so let's try something like that. And then we're gonna go to our world, and we're just gonna make sure this one's gone. I don't want that one. And let's make sure that one is gone as well. And we're just gonna go to world, and we're just gonna get save area. Okay, open. And we're just gonna pop that right in there. Beautiful. So now, if I did this correctly, I'm gonna click this here. It says can't save. Hit L. Alright, so now what's the problem here? Missile pickups base dictionary. Okay, so I obviously have a spelling error here somewhere. Player inventory, item tracker, missile pickup. Let's go back to our player here, and where's the error at? Missile pickups, and here. There we go. So now let's do that again. I want to make sure I get this item here because I want to make sure it's actually saving the data. Okay, and if I hit L, okay, that didn't work. Wait a minute. Okay, it is working. I forgot to save my position globally. Here. So when we actually load in this, we should also load in a couple of other variables. So I also forgot to do one other thing too. And that is, I forgot to close this file. So let's get load.close this file. And I completely forgot that I had to load up a bunch of crap. So we're gonna go to player inventory dot player current position dot x, and that's gonna be equal to the player data that we have here, and then it's going to look for which one that we want. In this particular case, position X is the one, and then I'm gonna change that to Y, as well as this to Y. So now it's gonna load. It's gonna have access to whatever position we saved within that data structure, and then after that, I want to make sure that it gets my current loadout. And the data we want to get is items collected, and that should work. So now I'm gonna grab this here. I need to fix that. That should be behind her. I know what I did here. But now if I press L and I go all the way over to here and go to this file here and press L again, I should pop up right back here. And as you can see, that item has been removed. So it's keeping track of the items that we collected. And I'm going to do that again. I got myself a brand new upgrade. Yippee! I'm happy to be alive. And hit the L button. Oh, and then when I load, it should. Yep. Beautiful. Okay, so that's that. So I'm just gonna fix this very quickly. But the tutorial is pretty much over now. So let's go. Okay. And now I should appear in the back. Or that should be here in the back. Beautiful. Just as God intended. Yay! So now I can save it. Load it in as much as I like. Beautiful. Now you can always add the save to like your menu, for example, or something like that. But for what I'm doing is just to show that you can save it and load it. So yeah. All right. That's going to end it for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much. I am going to leave GameEndeavors channel link down below. That's where I got the save function for, or the save code for. So yeah. I guess that's about it. I guess next time we can do a health bar. I don't see why not. Alright, children, take care.